Rainbow Six Extraction is much more than a cheap copy of Ubisoft's previous containment event the company hosted in Siege back in 2021. In fact, Extraction is a fully fledged standalone game that takes a lot of inspiration from Siege, but at the same time manages to stand on its own. Extraction is a lot of fun, and Ubisoft wants to cater to players who don't enjoy the sweaty life of being a Siege player. I don't play Rainbow Six Siege. I did for a while, but it never gelled with me and I fell off the wagon soon after launch. I enjoy PvP games, but there has to be a break where I can play some PvE modes. Rainbow Six Extraction is that game. And after spending a week with the brutal game, I struggled to pull myself away from it.
Protocols in effect.
If Ubisoft got one thing right here, they perfected the whole one more game system. This meant that every night I would sit with my brother, shoot some Acheons and keep telling ourselves that would be our last game. A few hours later, we were still trying to save our operators who managed to get themselves locked up somewhere in Alaska. The thought of going to bed while Doc was stuck in a cocoon was daunting. I had to save him, I had to make sure my operator roster was healthy and all the React members were available. If you don't know by now, Extraction follows the Siege operators on a new mission. The world has been invaded by these strange aliens called Acheons, and their job is to now visit a few locations around the world and collect data on them. While the objective is far off from saving victims from terrorists, the React team find themselves pretty capable of pulling it off, even if some of the operators feel like they should have stuck to the terrorists instead. Where Extraction shines is in its roster system. The more you play, the better your operators become. Each of them levels up, unlocks new weapons, gains new stat buffs like XP and damage reduction, and best of all, their abilities become better to use. The thing about Extraction, it wants you to play with everyone, and not in the dirty way either. You see, just like Siege, Extraction is relentlessly realistic. These alien freaks hit hard, operators die quickly, and this time around, dying has some serious repercussions. If you die in a mission, you can get revived by a teammate and use one self-revive tech if you have that equipped. However, get knocked down again and your operator then turns into a giant yellow cocoon. This cocoon has to then be extracted from the mission by a teammate dragging your noob ass all the way to the extraction point.
Picking up squad mate.
Secure your squad mate in the pod.
If they die and the mission fails, then your operator gets stuck in that location until you get back into the same mission to save them. This is called MIA. It gets even more complicated. Operators that make it through the mission successfully carry their health over with them. So if you leave the mission with 20 HP, which is often the case, that operator will show they have 20 HP in the roster. Take them with you to the next mission and you'll start with 20 HP. I could run around and find medkits, but these medkits only provide temporary health that goes away. But that operator needs to rest in between missions to regain their health. This also means I had to successfully complete objectives to earn XP, which then converts into HP depending on how well I did. So if you have your favorite operator, best find a few more. Maybe start to love everyone because Extraction really wants you to play with everyone. These systems are in place to enforce that. You could get away with using the same operator, but you'll have to master the game to an extent where you don't take any damage in the mission, and leave the mission with enough health to go into the new one.
Hold your fire!
Secure our casualties in the pod at the extraction point. Well done. An operator is coming home thanks to you.
Thankfully, the general rinse and repeat gameplay in Extraction works with this system. Missions aren't too long and going in to save an MIA operator means that there's an opportunity to complete new objectives, heal your roster and progress your rank. There's a steep learning curve here, but once mastered, Extraction cycle is hella fun. I also need to stress how important team gameplay is in the game. Communicating with your squad goes a long way. Tagging enemies helps alert other players around you, and going in slowly with everyone knowing that you're going in slowly also helps. As I mentioned before, the enemies in Rainbow Six Extraction are tough. Every mission includes 3 zones, and each zone is usually home to a handful of different enemies. Alert one of them and you'll have a circus of bloaters, spikers and lurkers to deal with as they all hatch out of nests and try to kill your team. They also hit hard. You can die from 3 hits from a lurker, so avoiding this is important. It is especially tough when you have dozens of nests spawning enemies while you're trying to complete objectives. You have to kill these nests or take the enemies down that wake these nests up first. This is not Doom. You can't just run around shooting things.
Losing contact over there.
Some objectives were easier to do than others, but they aren't the most creative things on the planet. They also help define what team you'll take into the stage with. Some objectives rely on damage while others require a heavy silent approach. This is especially important in the more challenging difficulties, and even more so in the Maelstrom Protocol. This brings me to my biggest love for Extraction, how it grows and adapts as it gets more challenging. It also delivers new things to see and do. There are 12 main stages in the game, but each of them can be played with a range of difficulties. The base mode called Moderate is easy and at times a breeze. As I leveled up and took on more challenging difficulties, my operators were put to the test. I had to have more equipment, better communications, and the enemies were stronger and there were more of them. Tougher difficulties might reward more objective XP, but they also threw some insane modifiers at me. These added effects to enemies like popping poison gas balls that attached to my teammates and even some armored nests. New mission objectives were also available in the higher difficulties. One called The Gateway, which isn't available in Moderate, saw my team enter a portal and face off against a Protean. These are mutated operators with crazy abilities and deadly damage. Then there are weekly assignments that hand out unique modes. Wall to Wall was available during the review week. This unique mode saw a never-ending wave of enemies charge at us, while we had to find the switches to unlock the airlock to progress to the next area. It was intense.
Parasite is fighting back.
I'm also keen to test out more of the Maelstrom Protocol mode. Here the game gets tougher the more you progress, but you can obtain the best cosmetic gear here. I just need more time to get prepped for this because I got my ass handed to me the first time I tried it.
Stay on guard until they explode.
If I have to complain about one thing in Extraction, it's the operators. While some of them are great, others just feel useless as their abilities don't gel with the gameplay. You'll probably play with 5 of them and rotate around them, and the rest will be forgotten. I get that all of them had to be included, but some of their abilities just don't feel as useful as the others. So is Extraction a game for you? Well, if you enjoy co-op shooters, then definitely. There's a lot to enjoy here and quite a lot of content to get through, especially if you plan on increasing the challenge. While I wish there was more to do in the missions, having a team around and the urge to level up my operators kept me going. The whole MIA system is fantastic too. Honestly, I loved it and the whole risk-reward factor is brilliant. So with that being said, I give Rainbow Six Extraction a 4 out of 5 stars. I know Ubisoft will keep pumping out content for the game to keep it exciting, and I'm here for the long run. For all things Rainbow Six Extraction, make sure you visit glitch.online daily. A like and subscribe would be great too. Thanks for watching, until next time, bye.